The Pope is coming to the U.S. and will likely offer his opinion on everything from race and police issues to marriage and divorce standards. Tom, are you going to go to the parade, and do you think that the UN should fly the Vatican flag?
Well, I'm not going to be at the parade for various reasons. However, I think this is a very interesting visit. It's the first time a pope is actually going to speak to the U.S. Congress. This man, as we all know, is kind of a religious rock star at this point. He's probably the best known religious figure in the world at the moment. And what he says, it should be very interesting, and I think it may actually even have some effects on American politics a little bit, because we probably know some of what he's going to say ahead of time. He's been very vocal on a number of issues, and some issues that have kind of upset people, Catholics, non-Catholics, and they seem to like him on, all different religions. One of my good Jewish friends just thinks he's wonderful.
He is the Donald Trump of the church community.
No.
Well,
No, the Pope is an intelligent man, okay? So that takes
Donald
him out of
Trump
Donald
is an
Trump
intelligent
realm.
I'm
man.
not entirely
That-
sure that
that is-
characterizing Donald as not being an intelligent person is accurate either,
no.
but
here's the thing: this guy speaks his mind. This guy this guy speaks his mind. He doesn't. He's not as politically correct as what popes traditionally have been.
Right.
He's saying some things that, yes, they're stirring conversation, but is conversation a bad thing?
It's a good
He
thing,
is stirring conversation in a peaceful,
Yeah.
respectful way.
And how
So-
does that make him like Donald Trump?
So, well,
and I would say, to add to that, he's not going around arbitrarily insulting people left and right.
Okay.
No,
So
I don't
there
think
is a
that's
difference.
his business.
there's no look at that face comment from the
No.
Pope, but
No.
You know what I
no.
think will be interesting as he gets up there and he starts talking about some of his social and economic ideas that depends that the news, the media has got to do of the Congress
Well,
out there. It's
this
going to be
is gonna
interesting
be-
to see some of the reactions.
They're going to have a very difficult time knowing how to react.
Yeah.
And react, as you say,
yeah,
on
I think
camera.
they ought to mount a camera that focuses on every congressperson.
There you go.
To catch
examine
reactions.
the-
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, there will be some interesting. Hey, by the way, is the Pope meeting Donald Trump while he's here?
I doubt it.
doubt it.
So here's the interesting part
Donald
to
will
me.
try.
I'm sure he will.
And I'm sure egotistically he believes that he deserves that visit. But here's
And
what I would say.
it'll be the Pope's best stop if he does it, because Donald will tell him that.
Here's what I find interesting about this. So there have been recently a couple of high-level religious visits to the U.S. So certainly the Dalai Lama was here, and the president could not meet with him because of the pressure from China.
Right.
And the Dalai Lama has been a very outspoken person for a long period of time on a number of issues, I think for the most part to the benefit of humanity. The Catholic Church traditionally has been a very traditional organization. And for the first time, certainly since in the last 50 years, we have a pope that is very cutting edge in terms of being almost pushing the envelope of the Catholic Church. We, as a country, have a line separation of church and state for a reason, because of the experience in our founding period of the oppression of religious government or religiously oriented government. By the same token, I think having somebody from an organization like the Vatican who is kind of on the edge of social change, on the edge of all these other things, agree or disagree with his policies, is going to be an eye-opening experience, I think, for our legislature. So I'm actually very curious to see how this all pans out.
Yeah, and I think it's important to realize that I'm a Catholic, and the Catholic Church in the United States is the largest by far of any religious group in the United States. There's 75 plus million Catholics. And as somebody who sits in the pews, I know they don't all think alike. That 75 million is quite an interesting group of people. And the Pope is also dealing with that issue, which is, apart from the political one here, it's a political one within the church itself, which is changing also.
75 million Catholics in the United States?
Yes.
I did not know that.
There are almost 1.2 billion in the world. It's the biggest, and it's the fastest growing faith in the world, especially in sub-Saharan Africa.
So Catholicism or Christianity?
Catholicism.
Wow. You got to wonder, I'm sure
sky's
you would agree
big.
with this, with 75 million Catholics in the United States, how do we ever elect a Democrat?
But you do because of the Catholic
John F. Kennedy was a
tradition.
Democrat.
Yes,
Okay.
he was a Catholic
Okay.
Democrat.
Okay. All right.
That was a big issue back
It was a big issue.
then.
So the thing that I like about this Pope is the fact that he focuses on the needy. And I know we have discussions around this table. I know we have discussions in this county, in this state, in this country about welfare rolls. But there are those in our world who need our help. And this man, in my mind, has shown a tremendous ability to highlight those needs and to focus on those needs. And some of the visits he's making in Philadelphia, in New York, in Washington, D.C., really further expose that. And I think that's an amazing thing.
Well, and I think the other thing, aside from that, so I definitely agree that probably the primary benefit that he brings to the table is this focus on the needy. The other focus or the other benefit that I think he brings to the table is the message of inclusion. That regardless whether we disagree on any of a number of topics, whether they be social, whether they be political, whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, the message should be inclusion, not exclusion. We shouldn't look at each other as being different. We should look at each other as being the same and ultimately figuring out how we can work together to solve
Yes.
problems.
You know, I think this man is actually perhaps one of the most political popes that there's been in a long time. And one of the things I like to look at, from my experience as I'm something of a scripture scholar, and I think of, in the Gospels, there's always this big, the Palm Sunday, Jesus has his triumphal entry into Jerusalem, which was the capital of the Roman province. And usually during those days, if you know something about the Roman triumphal parades, they come out on the big horse and steed, the biggest one they could find, all very militaristic, Jesus of Nazareth actually sends somebody into town to get a donkey, which is the beast of burden. And, he comes in on that. And the Pope is kind of aware of that, his role, speaking truth to power. So.
Right.
It's
It'll
intriguing.
be interesting.
It is
It'll be
intriguing. I
interesting.
think it's going to be an interesting visit. Now, the other question in our opening was about the Vatican flag being raised at the UN along with the Palestinian flag, which both of those were just recently approved. I was not aware that the Vatican flag was not flown at the UN since
I'm
it was
not either.
I guess it's considered a non-member nation.
Well, and here's what I would offer on that, and this comment might be somewhat controversial. So certainly in the case of the Vatican, it is a recognized state. In the case of the Palestinian flag, we have a real issue, I think, sometimes in that we have a real issue in that any criticism of Israel is automatically being seen, and even if you're making a statement that is not necessarily critical of the state of Israel, it is automatically being seen as being an anti-Semitic statement.
Well, that's because we're hyper-political.
We are hyper-political, but here's the truth of the matter is, Israel has a crisis on its hands, which is that if within the next few years, without dealing with the Palestinian issue, either creating a two-state solution, whatever the case may be, they will no longer have the moral authority to claim themselves as a democratic country because they will be ruling over a majority of a population that is not Jewish and does not have the right to vote in their democratic system. Whatever our view of Israel, and I certainly am a stringent or very staunch supporter of the existence of Israel, the two-state solution is the only possible solution in this particular case because otherwise we're dealing with an apartheid possible solution. And I'm going to end it on that, and I apologize. I know that's kind of dropping in the middle of the bomb.
So thanks for letting us get back in. But yeah, their producers are signaling us, aren't they?
So
Stay tuned because in 3 minutes, we'll be back to discuss the possibility of marijuana being grown here in Washington County. We'll be right back.